So, Classroom of the Elite Season 3, as of the recording of this video, we're currently 9 episodes deep into this season and done with Volume 10, which is the Class Vote Special Exam. Arguably the most simple special exam so far, yet it's also the one which has the highest stakes we've seen. It also happens to be my third favorite Classroom of the Elite volume out of the 26 plus volumes which are currently out. So naturally, I was really looking forward to seeing this volume adapted, even though my expectations were quite low to be honest. And that's why I wanna take some time to talk about how I personally feel about this volume 10 adaptation and just season 3 in general as a massive fan. Did Studio Lurch cook during these past few episodes, or did they burn down the whole kitchen? Spoiler alert, this video is probably going to be quite negative, so you should probably click off if you're not interested. With that out of the way though, let's not waste any more time and dive into it. First up, let's talk about one of the most important things for an anime, and that is the animation. And Classroom of the Elite is, to put it bluntly, one of the worst looking anime that stems from a popular IP. Like, it's genuinely baffling that the average slice of life and isekai anime that we get every single season look better than one of the most popular and sold light novel of all time. Now, whenever anyone criticizes the animation, some people always talk about how Classroom of the Elite doesn't need good animation. And I genuinely believe these people are clowns. It's precisely because Classroom of the Elite doesn't need Sakuga moments like shonen anime that should allow it to look consistently good and maintain a certain level of quality. Instead, we ended up with an anime that doesn't even manage to have its characters on model during most scenes. Bakemonogatari, Kaguya-sama, 86, all these have lots of dialogue heavy scenes like Classroom of the Elite. The difference is that, because of their incredible direction, the dialogue heavy scenes feel just as dynamic as when there's action happening on screen. Compared to Classroom of the Elite, where we see panning shots of characters' faces with only their mouths moving, and if we're lucky, we get some eye twitches as well. So many anime have shown us that dialogue scenes can look just as visually interesting as an action scene, but Classroom of the Elite on the other hand is one of the worst ways to handle a dialogue heavy show, especially one that relies heavily on psychological themes and important character monologues. The one positive thing I can say about this volume 10 adaptation is that it doesn't look as bad as season 2. That's it. That's the only good thing I can say about the quality of this season. And I was hoping that it would be the same for volume 11 as well, but boy oh boy how wrong I was to expect that. Episode 9, which starts volume 11, is genuinely on par with season 2 in terms of looking shit. And that is pretty much all I have to say in terms of animation. Also, I have to state, the animation being bad is not the fault of the staff members working on it. And as much as I love to shit on Lurch, the studio isn't at fault either. Kadokawa and their practices of producing anime just for the sake of fulfilling a quota is the reason we ended up with such a horrible adaptation that only exists for the sake of being a light novel ad. Moving on to the contents of season 3. Volume 8's adaptation was genuinely so bad that they honestly should have completely skipped it and used the extra time to flesh out the other important volumes. And even though I don't care for volume 9 in its entirety, it still has some really incredible moments, and I was completely disappointed with the way they handled the moments I was really looking forward to. I talk about that in my cut content video for episode 5, so check it out if you're interested. And volume 10's adaptation was honestly not as bad as I was expecting, but they straight up removed some of the best parts of this volume and some really baffling changes. The main one that pissed me off is how they handle Hirata's character. The light novel starts with his monologue, telling the audience about his thought process and the shit he's been through, whereas the anime just makes him look like an idiot. The class discussion scene hits so much fucking harder because we have insight as to how he feels about this entire situation, and that's one of my favorite scenes from this volume. Plus, the anime completely cuts out Hirata apologizing to everyone and trying to sacrifice himself, which just makes him look like a complete asshole who was dumb for trying to save Yamauchi. Instead of making him look like an asshole, the light novel first makes you understand how Hirata thinks and how he feels about the situation. And that's why during the class discussion scene, you feel bad about Hirata the most, and that's one of my favorite scenes in the entirety of the series. Plus, the complete absence of Ayanokoji's inner thoughts really hurt a lot of moments this season. Like, I genuinely don't understand why they don't even adapt some extremely important lines. While reading light novel, you get some really bombshell reveals and info drops from his inner thoughts, and that being completely absent is just stupid as hell. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this season so far. I'm honestly not that hopeful for volume 11 considering how bad episode 9 was, but we'll just have to see. And depending on how well this video does, I'll probably make another video like this once we're done with volume 11. So if you're interested in that, leave a like on the video and consider subscribing to the channel. With all that being said though, have a nice rest of your day and hopefully see you guys in my next video.